Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 8.6. Okay, I've been playing a lot of this, I know. We're going to get to some more. We probably already, by the time that I'm releasing this, already have gotten some more Black Ice for Hearts of Iron 4, but I've been waiting for it to come out and playing this through because I want to get through some of this. Good. You can see a huge stack of a lot of stuff here. We don't quite know, but all kinds of units there. They've already retreated out. Well, there's 31 conscript divisions, it looks like. Wow, okay. I didn't want to move my panzers into there, but maybe they would have overrun them. That's an idea. Also an idea maybe to swing them around this way. Let's send both of these units up this way. Maybe just enough to keep them from shattering. Oh, okay, a bunch of stuff happened. Okay, well, there's that down here. We'll find that in a minute. Okay, Air Force HQs have advanced. Very nice. Organization bonuses and the morale are good. I guess that's it for new technologies. Now I do sort of want to attack movement. Attack movement's nice. We'll do that. Bonus there. General Direction der Ostbahn, East Rail. Okay. Basically this improves the rail in Eastern, or in Poland. Which will help our situation. The Germans did put a lot of effort into improving the rail before the invasion. So yeah, whatever. We'll do that. Arno Becker, that's this guy. We've seen that he won a silver medal at the Olympics for sculpture, a male and female statue. Which of course was the practice then, not just for the 36, but the earlier Olympics. They had medals for things other than sports, generally, you know, physical endeavors of like sculpting or something, not just you know, athletic physical endeavors. Which I don't think they ever came back after World War II, but before then they definitely had that. And we've also seen he was never, to the best of my knowledge, never in any Nazi organizations. Maybe he was a party member, I don't know. But I quite honestly don't know. I may have read that somewhere or not. But he was not a member of the SS. He was not any of these other sort of members of the organization. But, which is very sort of curious, I find, because he was one of the main people that went with Hitler to Paris his one sort of art and architecture tour of Paris that Hitler went on. You often see Hitler walking towards the camera with a bunch of people, um, with the Eiffel Tower in the background, an iconic image. I'm sure all of you have probably seen it one time or another. In fact, if you've played the mod, you've seen it and watched the series, you've seen it because he was in there, and I just sort of again pointed out he was wearing an overcoat with some sort of like SS overseas cap, because had an SS skull on it. So I don't know if they, for the cameras or whatever, if it just felt that they needed to put him in some sort of uniform, but he was wearing some, I don't know if there was any more uniform to it than the hat and the overcoat, but so that sort of tells you sort of who this guy was. Oh, Arno Becca goes on to be, after the war, a continued, very noted sculptor, and maybe other artistry too, but definitely sculptor. But here I thought this was interesting because at about this time, he does, and off the other person, the other side of, I forget who was on the left and who was on the right of Hitler, of course, in that photo we were just talking about, was Speer, who was wearing his organization tote uniform, of course, but is that he did this bust of Speer, which is somewhat stylized, obviously. I just thought that was sort of an interesting thing. There's no record of what happened to the bust after the war, whether it survives or not. I don't know. It's not publicly known to have survived. I went and sort of looked that up, but Arno Becker's worked there, so I just thought that was interesting. I sort of like the artistic style. Also nice stylized photograph there of that. So, but again, I don't know how political he was. I'm sure he thought of himself as a good German, so he probably thought himself as a good Nazi while, things were going well. But, just interesting trivia bits where that comes in. Okay, this you can sort of see. This is just a light is the safest bomber's target. Just one of the flyers that spread around Germany dealing with the bombers. Wanted to show you what that looked like. Oh, okay, I think these are black ice events. I'm not sure. I've encountered a few of these. Harris Group South Cross River Dnieper at the central point. So presumably there's the Dnieper. We've captured enough provinces that were required for this. So we lose one descent. They gain a descent. And Harris Group Center crosses Nieman. Oh, where's the Nieman? Sorry, Russians, I don't remember all of the rivers. And this is why I love, I've heard a lot of them, and oh, here, Niemann. This is something we did quite a while ago. It sort of takes a while for these things. I think I've explained to trigger because they have timers on them. But so. Okay, oh, a bunch of these just showed up. Okay, well, yes, we will take the equipment. Obviously, because of things we are right now negative, well, it's only 174 build bases in Poland. Well, we've already paid for them. So this time I'm going to remember to put them up top. Like I forgot last time, we canceled all of them. That should put them all there. Not that we really need them at this point. Okay, so the supplies, the metal, the rare materials don't seem to be all that much, and you do have a chance of a lot of supplies and fuel. So plus you gain either troops or armor. And so that's what we're going to do. 50-50 chance. So, Here we go. Okay, light armored brigade. Oh, I want to get rid of this map here. Let's start. Troops with some heavy artillery. Okay, well, sort of don't like that you don't get any manpower with them. It sort of draws off your own, but whatever. Okay, anti-tanking troops. Well, might as well sort of get you moving a bit. Oh, and here also as well. Oh, we might as well put in a leader. Let's do bad leaders. Not terrible leaders, but still. We might as well have try to organize everything up. And armor. Let's get an armor guy, but again, not so good. There we go. Keep moving forward. They're still rebasing. Sure. May have already mentioned this before. I quite honestly forget. I've had a couple of people posting in the comment section about attaching units to higher commands, and do I bother with it? Is it worth it? Questions sort of like that. And this is one thing, and I'm sort of doing this. I know most of you are Black Ice players, but some of you are more of Hearts of Iron 4 players that found me through Hearts of Iron 4, but are still watching this at least some of the time, maybe playing this as well. This is one of the things that people hate about Hearts of Iron 3. Now, one element of it is just what I did when I went in and I had to go in and give those guys a leader. This has a really sucky AI for doing leader assignments. I know I've created one time on paper sort of an if-then AI sort of statement that would do good assignments for people, so that players would never have to touch again a general on the division, because everyone who hates the divisional generals, I'd bet $100 that if they honestly were asked if it just automatically assigned it and it was always a reasonably good choice and they never had to touch it, would they still hate it? No, they hated having to, oh, you just put Rommel in charge of some garrison division? Hell no, I don't want Rommel there. I want Rommel in charge of some panzer division or in some corps level headquarters. That's what they hated about it. They hated the management of it. I totally understand the hate of the management of it. I enjoy it, but I understand and get the hate for it. I truly do. This is not something foreign, because for like these crappy divisions, I just wanted just pick anybody almost that just generics for most of those things. And so my sort of was to do flags. If it has an armored flag, then pick a guy with armor skills. If it has, but if it has a SS flag in a unit type here, pick SS unit higher. You know, sort of have a logic chain hierarchy for the AI to go through, and you'd get reasonable choices out of it for most players. Okay. The other thing is all of this hierarchy here that they've people are questioning. Do we need to do this? Do we have to do this? Do we bother doing this? Again, I enjoy doing this. Now, people can go look at this sort of bit chaotic stuff with all these lines here. Yeah, I get you. And if you looked at the AI, it'd be 10 times as worse, quite honestly. The AI is miserable at this. If you don't enjoy using the hierarchy, don't use it. Just forget it. Just if you are a micro player enough that, because if you're going to have to at least do what here is draw the lines out, because I can come over here and turn is it here? If you notice, I'm sort of looking for it because I never use it. Well, one of these buttons here, and now I don't feel too much like a fool, but like I say, I never use it. Is to turn this over to AI control. Is the theater button up here? Oh, edit the theater. Okay. That edit the theater will, you go and edit where his theater is supposed to be. Again, I don't use it because I don't care. It's probably something very simple again, but I just, so long since I've bothered using this. And if somebody wants to post it, because I'm giving up now about oh, collapse all. But one of the buttons around somewhere will turn either the whole theater or whatever over to the AI, and you sort of give it basic plans and it will try to do it. So if you're going to do that, you need to have AI. Okay, you're trying to catch up. Do that, so you need to have some sort of hierarchy. But if you just want to move the pieces yourself, you don't want to worry about attaching them to higher command groups, it isn't fun for you, shall we say, then don't do it. Just don't. There are bonuses, but in my opinion the bonuses are unneeded. Who do we attack here? These guys? Yeah, let's attack these guys with the HQ. So like I say, I think it's unneeded, but you can do it. The bonuses, if you're going to micromanage it. So only do it if it's fun. Don't let that ruin your play. Okay, where's my long range over here? Yeah, we're going to move it right to there. All of these guys. I haven't done any single fighting yet. the good of units that haven't fought yet. Yeah, I know they might one day be used on the front line. They haven't been yet. Because ultimately the game is about fun. If you are like me, who like a sort of detailed World War II simulator, you find all of the sort of micromanagement elements fun. But you may not. Now, of course, if you want something super simple, you probably wouldn't be here. Okay, Nary, you're getting too much. What you fight? You know, you want two base. Sorry, we want just a too simplistic thing. You probably wouldn't be here, like I was saying. So, you want a certain level of detail, but whatever level of detail that is. Just go for that. Are we there yet? No. There they are. Moving at 20 some knots. How long until you can... Oh, an hour. Well, cool. Oh. I haven't seen this one before. Stalin escaped their glorious panzers in the east. However, the head of the Abwehr has proposed a daring mission. After a tip-off from spies, it seems that Comrade Stalin has fled to Vladivostok. We can launch a daring covert operation in the Far East to hunt and kill Stalin. Our commandos will land on the coast of Vladivostok, find Stalin and kill him. Good luck. How interesting. I've never seen this before. Okay. The Hound. I forget who the other one was. Stalin Brandenburgers. Obviously this is a fictitious thing because now this would seem like something that would be after the fall of Moscow, but maybe we got close enough to it that triggered it. Yeah, we'll take that. Let me cancel this. Soviet railways to right. As the Germans advanced deeper into the Soviet, it is discovered that the Soviet railway network was almost useless. Now I have to wonder about that, and I've read that before, and I may have mentioned it in the previous series. That can't be true. Rosenberg, who you've definitely heard me talk about before, and he was one of the big sort of theorists on Jews and whatnot in the Eastern world and things. I believe he was born in Moscow, as some of the German families that were there. And you know, if that surprises you, that some of the higher up Nazis like Rosenberg, he was born in Moscow. Rudolf Hess was born, just in case you haven't been around, in Alexandria, Egypt. Both to German parents, but Rosenberg parents, I believe, were of Germans who had lived for some time in the East, not just like, I believe, Rudolf Hess were just I don't know, living there for a time, you know, that they weren't multi-generational living in a British colony. Um, and there's also had to be a bunch of other people that had been in around the Freikorps, all kinds of things dealing with you know, the Russian Civil War, that had to know that the railways were different. In fact, there was a fair amount of testing going on in the east in different places, somewhere in Russia, for various German weapons types that had to be riding on the railways, and somebody had to notice, because it isn't just like a half an inch difference. It's significant enough that they would have noticed. But why there wasn't, now the question is did they plan for it, but just not been recorded, or did they just not make the plans, and so whatever. So, but okay, so that's letting you know that it's too far to make the thing. IG Farm in Petstamo, Finland. That's up in here. We're getting a lot of events, aren't we? Wow, yeah. So you can see up here it's a mining. Oh, we didn't quite go far enough, did we? Well, nothing here now. So, nickel for war production. Nickel is very useful, and I believe it can be mixed in with steel for doing various machine tooling and maybe armor and such. So, IG Farben included agreement to purchase 60% of the nickel from Pestama, as well as part of that is that they were going to expand the mining, you know, sort of guaranteed production. Because you very likely have a mine or something, but you know, do you oh, here we go, rare materials already there, so it's probably here. Where's that boost? Oh, we got that there, so that we extract more, or they extract more from it, and which will allow us to trade plus boost from that. So when you have a guaranteed sales of it at a take this swampy province, that's hard to take, at a reasonable rate, you know, at a guaranteed rate, you're much more likely to expand the production of it. Okay, we've taken Minsk. This is I found I search all the time on the web and sometimes spend way too much time, and I can't say too much, but people are complaining about the lack of events in Hearts of Iron 4. Part of that, I guess what I can say, is that they haven't necessarily had the manpower to do it. Archangel 85 is sort of the main person who does it now, but he was not hired by the company during production of Hearts of Iron 4, meaning he's been hired post that. He is a content person as opposed to a programmer, meaning he does basically what I do, but also making national focuses and other things like that. Well, again, I can't say too much, but it takes a certain amount of time and prep to do it. Well, I waste a lot of time on the web, and if you will, as opposed to, and not necessarily wasted as in non-productive time, but it's not necessarily producing like 10 events a day or whatever it is. It's just my time, so I'm spending it doing this stuff. One thing, I've found several different sites that sell, among other things, photo albums. And the World War II photo albums that they buy from people in Germany and other places, so that you can buy, you know, complete some really nice books, you know, one-off family photo album type things by soldiers. Well, some of them I found, and I've gone in and they've identified from the descriptions of what some of the photos are, so I made some of these based on that. And this is what a soldier took in Minsk, and just these are like the description on the back of the photo was House of Government in Minsk. I get, these are brief English translations of whatever was written on the German in the back. So maybe hardly, well, maybe if, as I'm pointing it out, you can tell a lot of these windows are shot out. Maybe some of there's some fire damage. So now, generally key, sometimes there isn't, but if there is, you'll notice if I have like victory or take the tour of the city, you take the tour of the city, you're likely to, you'll see more, partially do this to want to show off my work. But there can be, not always, an extra little minor, again, it's often minor, bonus element that Lenin's house authority delegation to the civil administration, that would probably be that. That was sort of in the background, I believe, in the last photo, so they had been standing off to the left here somewhere for that last photo, or maybe behind or something, or just rotating around. Meeting hall in Lenin's house, Minsk. This is an oval hall of government house. This is sort of like a legislature of some sort, presumably, and officer's house in Minsk. You can't really read it here, but that's something, German army sign posted there, officers' quarters or whatever. But that's how it. No, I guess there wasn't a bonus there. Kiev taken. These are photos. It's a bridge somewhere outside of Kiev, a bunker that's near it. You can sort of see different shots of that. The victory, so we lose that. And now we're into a view of the main square in Kiev at the time, square of Stalin. So that in the industrial zone, yeah, we'll go with that. 9th Army Commando, okay, yeah, spend the supplies on that. Hare's group center crosses the Dnieper at its northern part. Okay, where's the Dnieper here? That's the Volga. I've, back from World at War and various other documentaries, hear all the river names, but I gotta sort of like look. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we've crossed up here. So we lose 1 in descent. And the Soviets gain. Take over Interpol. Okay. 38 to 45. The International Criminal Police Commission, which still existed before and still exists, became little more than an extension of the Nazi state. The German troops in Vienna. And so police, his choice to succeed. Well, see, thinking Deleg was. Well, and I'm not, and in no way am I disputing, because they do say the RSHA, which is what was I have with Soviet equipment. Which we should be getting an event soon to upgrade this, but yeah, see the RS, I think HA Hampt or whatever, is definitely Reinhard Heydrich's position, but I guess that comes, Interpol, this comes under, well, I really thought it was sort of why I put him. Deleg is, maybe it was later? No, politics. Probably butchering his name. Okay, no, okay, he's Chief der Ordnungspolizei. Okay, I thought, well, see what me thinking here is. Maybe he was also, or later. Oh, it's Kaltenbrunner. That's it. Kaltenbrunner, who is, I think, if not. Okay, Walter Schellenberger is Ausland SD. That means foreign or outside of Germany SD. It's not internal SD. Sorry if this is getting too much into the weeds. But I thought it was Carlton Booner. I was sort of mixing up Carlton Booner and Deleg in my mind as who. I thought we had a Carlton Booner as a minister here, but maybe he shows up later. Maybe he shows up later as once Heydrich dies. That could be. Okay, but and it very well may have been after that point. Okay, so the SS gained some HQ points. Okay, the FUMG 450 Freya N, which is radar type, so we can spend some supplies to improve our radar tech where not necessary. We'll do that. And we've captured even more weaponry. We're going to take the unit, whatever unit they give us, and supplies. Yeah, as you can tell from me just speaking here, I pay a little too much attention to some of this stuff. I know, and it's over many years, and I'm a bit too obsessive about it. I hope it's something you like about me and want to hear me rambling on about who is the SS guy in charge of Interpol during this period. No, we're not going to put a Luftwaffe guy in charge. Okay, this guy. Von Prinzwitz und Griffen. And we'll get you moving forward. Yay. Okay, and let's go to the Brandenburger groups. Ooh. Is it both of them? Or... oh, up here too. These are SS Brandenburger groups, it looks like. Well, I don't know this in any way negates my plans to not seeing this Brandenburger group as Schwarz. I don't like this. Brandenburg Group Weiss. Okay, that's okay, but no, not with the SS. SS Sonderverband. That part's fine, but Brandenburg? Yeah, obviously this is a fantasy operation, but this is, in my opinion, bad fantasy naming. Maybe somebody has some better, because I do have a book on the Brandenburgers. I'll maybe look this up and read about this a bit. But the biggest complaint about the Brandenburgers is that they were, I don't know if anti-Nazi is the right word, but the guy who formed, the main guy who formed the Brandenburgers was von Hippel here. This is Black Ice versions of von Hippel. I think in 41 we'll find my version of von Hippel, because I use him as a potential officer for coming down to Tanganyika, because he served with Vobeck. What is it? Vobeck Letero or whatever. I keep messing up his name. But coming sort of out of that Tanganyika experiences, he forms the unit. He wants to form the unit. The German army, being traditionalist armies as traditionalist armies were, and that includes the American army at the time until really the war got started, and the British army, which really had to have Churchill not just pushing but shoving, kicking to get the commandos going. Traditionally don't like special operation units, and particularly don't like them in peacetime. Or anything particularly new. So von Hippel wanted to create the unit. Basically, he was told no, and I forget the exact details, but through contacts with Admiral Canaris and the Abwehr, it gets set up as a sort of an Abwehr type unit. Military, again, German army, but sponsored by the Abwehr instead of the regular army command. And at some point, they go to Hippel and say, "We want you to sign this and have all of your men to sign this document that you pledge to do any mission that you're requested to do, and even if it means certain death or whatever. Basically a pledge to be utter obedience." And he says, basically, "Fuck no." I don't know if he used that pleasant of a language. He says, "We're an entirely volunteer unit. You can have a task for us, but only men who will volunteer to go on that mission will go on the mission. I will not even ask anybody to sign this to see who would be willing to. No, it's every mission's volunteer. This is a volunteer unit. We will do it if we will volunteer to do it." And for that, he gets fired from the Brandenburgers. And eventually, he's later setting up the sort of Arab commando units in North Africa that the Germans were doing there. So, and his subordinate basically quietly sort of informs, "If you ask me to sign the paperwork, I'm going to say basically the same thing." So they never officially ask him, so they don't have to fire him too. This was sort of coming from the party apparatus, shall we say, that was pushing on them, not so much the army command. And they realized they couldn't let von Hippel stay in the position after refusing this, because it looked bad to have him there after him refusing to do it. But they knew if they continued to push on this, that their Brandenburger commandos were basically going to melt away and go back to being just regular soldiers. No, we're not going to do special missions anymore for you if you're trying to make us do or die. So the Brandenburgers throughout the war were this sort of unit. You sort of see a similar sort of mentality in the Michael Caine unit of where Eagles Dare or whatever, where they go into Britain dressed as Polish soldiers. Now his unit is a Luftwaffe commando unit, and once they save a Jewish or try to save a Jewish woman or something, they get sent to doing sort of suicide E-boat type attacks, or semi-suicidal E-boat attacks. The unit does. It's that sort of thing, in that they were sort of professionals, volunteers throughout the war, and at least primarily army. I don't know if they had any Luftwaffe people, but they were not, through their whole history, or any of their history, die-hard Nazi types. At least it's the great bulk of them. But there are, under Otto Skorzeny, the SS, I think 400 and 500 commando unit. And I think there's sort of the same unit that sort of gets renamed or whatever. I got the book on it. I'm trying to read on my shelf here. Forgotten Legions is the name of the book. It's sort of hard to find. I don't know if you can find it online. It's a big, thick book that goes into a lot of these sort of obscure SS, Waffen-SS units, and that's just what the book is about. Some of them are obscure stuff that lasted for 90 days or something in the chaos of the Eastern Front that, you know, certain ethnic units and some of the commando units and whatnot. And so that there are things, and I don't ever remember them using the term Brandenburgers. So I guess I don't like them that they're SS. But we'll use them. So SS commando units, yes. Brandenburg, not so much. Okay, well, let's see if we can first cut our way out to China. Was this? No, German territory. Well, that won't get us too much supply, but at least they... What's in that province? A mine of some sort. Well, again, they can at least escape into Japanese territory, then maybe cut back if this unit tries to. I'm not going to have them take on at least too much of that alone. Well, that's a very high priority, yes. Are we there yet? Yes, we're there, yes. Okay. Okay, they're empty, so... And I've already, I recently just put Raider in charge. He should have been in charge from the beginning. Put Raider in charge, so it slows them down a little bit. They were moving at 20 knots. And we're going to load up these guys. I think we can use the Panama Canal. We've got these submarines and these torpedo boats out here, so it doesn't look like there's too much out here. Just don't know whether I should wait to get them fully organized or not. I've moved all my good capital ships into there, so we're going to just move up to there, hopefully without making contact. Okay, well, let's see. We're moving. You're waiting for supplies, so you're going to move in this manner. Yes, you cut me off here. They're going to catch up to you someday here. Hopefully with okay, cavalry unit, you go there. Okay, well, you're still, well, thought you were defending. Okay, you're gonna keep just getting HQs as they... Let's see if we can cut that guy off. Cut off all these units. 30 divisions. Yeah, I know they'll probably break back out here, but... Okay, guys, well, we're attacking that way. Let's follow them and see if we can go through here. I know there's a lot of go this way? Maybe. Yeah, these guys here. They're going to start dive bombing there. I'm not managing my air well, I know. Put you up. Intercept anything that the Soviets might try to fly. There. Okay, well. So who can we... Oh, we're going to try to supply air supply there. Don't we have... Maybe they're back here. Oh, those fighters should be up. Ground attack. Well, you can join this attack here, it's sort of important. As you can see, let's look at resource heavy here. Well, not here, but here I guess. Here. I knew this area would have a bunch of resources. A little bit of industry. Oh, also, some people get confused on this one. Gross Deutschland, just in case you don't know, is not an SS unit. It is a army unit that started out as sort of the presidential bodyguard or whatever, under Hindenburg at least. I mean, it probably has a lot longer history, but that's about as far back as I'm rather familiar with it. Good, well, we're pushing through here. Well, they're trying to improve a little bit with the bombing. Actually, you know, I'm going to change my... There, we'll get all of these provinces with resources in our hands to get them away from the Soviets and in ours. Oh, nice. Bulgaria wants to join the Axis. Welcome aboard, guys. I had no plans on. Okay, we lose 2,000 money for heroic tales. Yay, but whatever. Okay, more transport units. Our organization Tote continues to expand into, well, it's just sort of this is a blending. The NSKK, as we've talked about earlier, I know a lot, is sort of the automotive element of Germany, if you will. But they also, with the other one, it started, the first unit to get some trucks in was the NSKK organizing a unit for Organization Tote. Now here, still OT here for Organization Tote, but Legion Spear, something that says transport, I don't know if the exact right, but it's for, as time goes on, it's more and more called Legion Spear, after Albert Speer, of course, but it's sort of for the Luftwaffe. So it's sort of a weird mix of Organization Tote under Speer, NSKK, and the Luftwaffe. A lot of what they were doing was for the Luftwaffe, later than this mostly, than in July 40. Like in 43, they're doing a lot of recruiting out of like the Benelux countries for people. Hey, all you're going to be is a driver, Now you might get sent to Russia, but all you're going to be is a driver for a truck kind of thing. But they did a lot of support for the Luftwaffe, as opposed to, I'm not saying they wouldn't support the army in emergency, but it was, and you got to realize, to have a forward air base, you bring bombs or fuel or whatever up to the nearest railhead, and then from there you're moving them by truck. And inherently the Luftwaffe in Germany isn't a huge trucking organization, so you can see the sort of, let's look here with this thing, the size difference. Here's Germany, and oops, well, we sort of just took the, get rid of the non-occupied zones, but you've almost conquered the same size of Germany. Not quite yet, but in rough terrain you got to truck a lot of supplies and equipment around, so this helps. Luftwaffe, and I did this by giving, where is it here, 3 more truck units. Attach them to what you want. I don't know if I'm going to send them east at this moment, because we're already so far east, but you can attach them to units like these to, make them a little more mobile. I don't know, whatever you want to do. Romanian army crosses the Dnieper. Nesser? Oh, here, down here. Okay. So the first. Well, at this point, I think we're going to end this episode. Oh, let's look at the surrender progress. I do, yes. On the Soviet Union. Okay, so we've got a 12% surrender progress. Now we haven't taken, we'll do this now, the Air Force. And I didn't notice it because it was done by event that the 1SS then I talked about the Interpol. I'm sure pushed it over one, because if you push it over with an event given technology bonus, it doesn't show up. Well, we like the headquarters. They're good occupational troops, so we'll let that continue. It's not that far in advance. So we'll take this opportunity to to stop. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. I really appreciate it, when you do click the like button. It just that little bit more help with YouTube, so that they'll recommend it to other people watching Hearts of Iron 3 or maybe 4, or what they consider similar videos. So that helps with that a lot. And of course, also which helps with that is engagement, and part of it, the engagement, is thumbs up or thumbs down. If you're getting like 10-to-1 thumbs up, even thumbs down helps you out. Now if you're getting lots of thumbs down versus thumbs up, then that ain't good. But so even if a couple of people give me a thumbs down, it still helps. But what really helps is if you type something, that's even more engagement, because they think, oh, this is so interesting, whatever this is, that people are commenting on it, so other people must want to watch it. So I don't know how much believe me, there are bots that read these things, so I don't know, I think one of my videos recently, or a couple weeks ago, got demonetized for, well, it took them 4 hours about from when I spotted the demonetization and asked for a review for them to put it back. So I don't know how, and it hadn't been a day. I think it was because we were talking about some sensitive subjects in the description, because I don't think there was too much stuff in the description of the videos, but in the in the text, in my talking in the videos, that was controversial. I think it was maybe either somebody flagged it, or maybe the sensitive subjects that we were talking about may have sort of flagged it to the bots. But once I got somebody to review it, and it happened very quick, it got remonetized. But so maybe what you say does matter to some degree, but I just know that just simply engagement helps. So I love hearing from you just on that aspect. Of course, I also like interacting with you too. So either way, thank you so much. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.